Hi, everyone. Welcome to the part-time Master of Social Work curriculum overview. I'm Shayna Peterson. I use she, her pronouns, and I work as a admissions and recruitment specialist in the Office of Admissions. So happy to have you here today. I want to pass it over to my colleague, Chloe, to introduce herself, and then Chloe is going to go ahead and get us started here.
Thanks, Sheena. Hey there, my name is Chloe Risto. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the coordinator for academic advising here at the Brown School, and I serve as the academic advisor for part-time students. So thanks for joining us as we go through the program with you. So let's get rocking and rolling. So here at the Brown School, let's talk to you a little bit about our mission. The Brown School's mission is to engage multidisciplinary faculty, staff, and students to create a better and more equitable society through leading rigorous science, transformative education, and authentic partnerships. It might feel like a pretty weighty mission, but we truly believe in this as our guiding light. If you haven't heard already, our curriculum here at the Brown School was designed to be different. We have a few different sort of strongholds that I want to talk to you a little bit about. So first is our commitment to evidence-based practice. Whether you are in your theory courses or in a practice class, everything that you're going to discuss and do is really rooted in that notion of evidence first. Additionally, our curriculum moves through micro level in individuals, families, to a meso level. That's more of your organizations, to our macro level, to larger communities, the nation, the wider world. So you'll have the chance to move through those levels and how they intersect throughout your time at the Brown School. Additionally, the Brown School curriculum is rooted in an anti-oppressive lens, something that is ever so critical to the fields of social work, public health, social policy. So clearly, everything that we do, again, is rooted in that. Additionally, you may have heard or you will start to hear that we have a large variety of elective offerings here at the Brown School. Based on the curriculum plan, you'll have an opportunity to delve into some things that are of interest to you and really take advantage of those electives. And lastly, we have a commitment to have our students rise to a level of leadership readiness. We have realized over the past number of cohorts that have graduated that many Brown School students end up taking leadership positions within 2 to 3 to 4 years post graduation. And so we've made a commitment to ensure that you all will have some level of access and interaction with leadership readiness curriculum. So let's talk a little bit about your concentration options as a part-time MSW student. First option that you could decide to pursue is our mental health concentration. So here again, the evidence-based notion that we have in our curriculum programming, you'll delve into assessment and treatment methods. You'll have the opportunity to decide whether you want to focus more on maybe an older adolescent population or perhaps adults. You'll have a real focus on clinical social work competencies throughout your practice method courses, and you'll have the opportunity to address not only policy level, but also systems level change for ensuring that you have the tools to create more equitable mental health systems and services, which, you know, as our current days have told us, this is an incredibly relevant time to be thinking about our mental health systems. A secondary option you might be interested in is our social impact leadership concentration. So this could be a really, really great option for folks who want some additional preparation for leadership roles at nonprofits, for-profits, government positions. Utilizing a pretty innovative curriculum, you'll be taught not only traditional management and entrepreneurship, but also looking into some more contemporary approaches as well. This concentration is based in theory and has a lot of conceptual frameworks and research that guide those classes that we've put together for you. And again, it is ideal for students who might be thinking like, all right, I'm going down this management career, maybe for the first time, or maybe looking for that promotional status. The social impact leadership concentration could be exactly what you were looking for. I'm going to hand it back over to Shayna to talk a little bit about the curricular format.
Great, thanks, Chloe. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kind of dive into the weeds with our curricular format for all of our part-time students in both of the mental health and social impact leadership concentrations. So first of all, these are on the slide, we just have all of the different options that we have for courses. So the part-time program has really been designed for working professionals here in the St. Louis area. So with that, there's been a lot of intention put into making the curriculum very flexible and manageable with another job. So I want to go through the different options here. First, there, of course, will be in-person classes. This could be, will all be on campus in person. As it says here, remote learning is a component of the part-time program, but students are expected to reside in St. Louis and be able to attend on-campus classes because an in-person class will be part of the curriculum structure each semester. With that being said, there are remote components. So this is where students will attend courses via remote platforms such as Zoom or Canvas. We also have synchronous and asynchronous options. Synchronous would be where students attend classes via a remote platform live with classmates and the instructor. So, for example, that would be Monday night, 5:30 to 8:30, we all log on to Zoom at the same time. We also have an asynchronous option for some classes where students complete independent work, such as recorded lectures, practice exercises, things like that. So that would be something that you would, potentially have the full week to work on. And then we also have a weekly or a weekend structure to classes. So this is pretty self-explanatory, but weekly classes would be once a week. So going back to the example, Monday, 5:30 to 8:30 throughout the semester, you, the instructor, your classmates all have class at the same time. We also have a weekend structure for some classes, and that would be more like a weekend intensive class where students would attend classes in person over the course of a weekend. So that could be Friday through Sunday, or maybe all day Saturday, all day Sunday, something like that for a couple times a semester. So we've designed the curriculum to kind of have a combination of these class settings and class formats each semester for you. All right. So cost of attendance, the part-time program is a little bit different than our full-time MSW program. So the part-time program tuition is charged at a per credit hour rate, which for the 2023-2024 academic year is going to be $1,561 per credit hour. This, of course, does not take into consideration your scholarship. So just know that your scholarship is going to be applied evenly throughout 6 semesters. So fall, spring of year 1, 2, and 3. So that will be applied to each of those semesters. As a part-time student, you do attend class throughout the entire year. So you'll have a fall, spring, and summer semester. And each of those semesters, you'll take 6 to 8 credits per semester. And we'll go through in just a moment what those class breakdowns look like. So the total credits for the entire program is 60 credits, as you can see there. If you have specific questions about your financial situation, I would encourage you to reach out to the Office of Admissions. We can assist you with explaining your scholarship, breaking this down a little bit more, or we can help you set up an appointment with our Office of Financial Services and our Assistant Director of Financial Services. They're a great resource for you and, are there to kind of help talk through the ins and outs of all of this. Okay, so the part-time program is designed to be completed in 3 to 3.5 years. So we wanted to go through just what each year is going to look like. So first of all, the year 1, you're going to be completing your foundation level coursework. So this is going to be the same for all MSW students, all part-time MSW students. So here you can see in the fall semester, you'll be doing 2 classes, social justice and human diversity and human behavior. And again, remember that each of these classes is going to be a different design. So for example, this past year, social justice and human diversity was held in person in a weekend format for 3 weekends. And then the human behavior class was a remote option on Monday nights weekly with asynchronous and synchronous options. So it was a little bit of everything, but designed to be pretty flexible for students. In spring semester, you'll move into doing your social work practice with individuals, families, and groups, and then your social welfare policies and services class. And then in the summer, you'll be doing social work practice with organizations and communities and social, economic, and political environment. And then we have the option for you to go ahead and start your foundation practicum in the summer of your first year. So that's why we've listed here, you can go ahead and start your practicum doing 120 hours at your field site. And along with that practicum is a required practicum seminar. That's 1 credit. So this is kind of the encouraged summer schedule for that first summer. And Chloe, please feel free to jump in. I know that you're working with students right now. So if I say anything wrong or you want to add anything, please feel free to jump in.
You're rocking and rolling so far. But yeah, you're right. I think we talk a little bit about field ed a little farther in our presentation, so we can return back to the practicum and the seminar. So yeah, let's just keep rolling.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and so just a reminder, I'm sure a lot of people know this, but with your practicum as an MSW student, you'll complete 2 practica. So one is your foundation practicum that comes first, and that's 360 hours total. And then your second one is your concentration practicum that comes second, and that is 600 hours total. So you'll see how this is broken down here in just a moment. So year 2 is when students will start to finish up that foundation level coursework and move into their concentration level coursework. So first of all, we have the mental health concentration here. In the fall, you can see you'll take research methods, which is a 3 credit hour class, and then contemporary theories and issues in behavioral health. And then we have 2 credit hours allotted here for you to be working through your foundation practicum. So that's an estimated 240 hours at your field site. In the spring, this is when you start to move into some of your concentration level coursework. So mental health students will start to take principles of clinical interventions in behavioral health, principles and practices of differential diagnosis. And then you have an optional 1 credit that's available there. So we put in there potentially, you could take motivational interviewing. That is a 1 credit hour skill lab. So that's part of the Brown School curriculum. We have these 1 credit hour skill labs that are options for students to take to really hone in on specific skills that they want to build. So motivational interviewing is a skill that you might want to build as a future clinician and practitioner. So that would be an option for you there. Something to know, I didn't mention this before, but something to know as a part-time student, you do need to stay below 9 credit hours per semester in order to maintain your part-time status. So that's why all of the credit breakdowns per semester only go up to 8 credits. So typically it's going to be 2 classes, 3 credits each. So that's 6 credits. And then you have a little bit of wiggle room with the other ones. And then moving into the summer semester of your second year, you'll take principles, practices, and services in substance use disorder treatment and behavioral health policies and services. And then, as you can see, we have that optional 1 to 2 skill labs. So you can take 1, you can take 2, you can take none. It's really up to you with that. For year 2, for our social impact leaderships concentration students, your fall semester is going to look similar in that you take research methods. You also are going to take a social policy course, and you have a variety of options that you can choose from there, but you will take 1 social policy course. And then you also will be completing your foundation practicum. We have allotted there 240 hours at your field site for 2 credits. And then in the spring, you also will move into your concentration level coursework. So you'll take leadership and management of human services organizations if you're on the leadership track, or if you're on the innovation track, you'll take social entrepreneurship. You also will take human service organizations, theory, concept, and issues. And then just like our mental health students, you'll have the option to take a 1-credit skill lab in the spring. And then in the summer semester, our social impact leadership students can actually go ahead and start moving into your elective courses. So you have the option to do 2 electives over the summer and then 1 to 2 skill labs there. Year 3, we're over the hump, or almost to the end of your program. I feel the buildup here as I'm just explaining it. So year 3, our mental health concentration students, in the fall, you'll take leadership and management of organizations. And this is where you start to have the option to take some of your electives. So you have space here in the fall for an elective course. And then you're going to be starting your concentration practicum. So like I mentioned before, this is your second practicum. It's 600 hours, and you'll be doing your field work in a place of your concentration. So you can be building those concentration level skills. So for a student in the mental health concentration, that might be, or would very likely be, some type of clinical setting, a therapy office, some kind of group setting, just somewhere where you'll be supervised and learning how to really apply those skills that you've been learning. So concentration practicum is a little bit more intense, and you're doing 240 hours in the fall of your 3rd year. Moving into the spring, you have a couple of courses. So first is evaluation of programs and services. You have the option there to take your second elective course, and then you'll also be continuing your concentration practicum, where we have you doing 120 hours at your field site. As you can see, you'll have 1 credit hour left there. If you want to take a skill lab, you can do that to get to those 8 credit hours. But again, that is optional, just depending on what you want to do and how you want your courses to go over the time. And then in summer of your 3rd year, you'll be finishing your concentration practicum. We have you allotted here to do 240 hours at your field site for 2 credit hours. And then this is where you're kind of wrapping up your degree. So based on how many requirements you have left, how many credits you have left to complete, this is where you're going to be doing a combination of skill labs, concentration courses, or electives. And I'm going to go through the same thing for our social impact leadership concentration students. So again, this is your 3rd year of your program. So wrapping up your degree. In the fall, you'll be taking revenue development and communication, 3 credit hour class, another 3 credit hour class of financial management. And then just like our mental health students, you'll be in your concentration practicum, again, in a setting where you can apply the skills of your concentration, social impact leadership. So you'll be doing 240 hours at your field site in the fall of that 3rd year. In the spring, again, 2 classes, human services from design to impact, and leadership and managing employees, volunteers, and teams. And then just like our mental health students, you'll be continuing your concentration practicum. We have you doing 120 hours at the site. And then again, you have that optional 1-hour skill lab for the spring. And then in the summer, very similar, you're going to be wrapping up your concentration with 240 hours at your field site for those 2 credit hours, the final 2 credit hours at your practicum. And then you have, just depending on how many credits you have left to complete your degree, you'll be doing a combination of skill labs, concentration courses, or electives. And then year 4 is also available for students if you need another semester to complete your degree, which is totally fine. The program is designed to be completed in 3 to 3.5 years. So this is really just kind of depending on what electives you've completed up until this point, and how many credits you have left to complete. But we're expecting that by the end of that 3rd year, by the end of those 9 semesters, you would only potentially have up to 6 total credit hours to complete in that additional fall semester. So that is available to you. But you also, if you want to plan out your degree to complete it in the summer, that's also possible. And that's what Chloe is here for, to kind of help with all of that and make sure that you're on track to graduate when you want to. Okay, so those 9 elective credits, you saw in the course sequencing breakdown that there's space there for 9 elective credits. And so that's 9 hours of the 60 total credit hours that you'll complete. So with these 9 electives, they're designed to be really flexible. You have a lot of like wiggle room there with what you want to do. First of all, you can complete a specialization. So a specialization is kind of like a minor. When you minored in something in undergrad, it's totally optional. But if you're like really interested in a specific area and want to develop some more specialization or expertise in that field, that is there. So you can take 3-hour classes in one area. And I'll talk about those options on the next slide. You also have the option to just kind of like pick and choose a little bit. Like say you're interested in taking a class in sexual health and education, and you're interested in taking a class in management, and you're interested in taking a class in social and economic development. You can just kind of pick and choose 3 other classes from Brown School coursework. I also mentioned those skill labs. You could take 9 1-credit skill labs if you wanted to do that. You also have the option of doing an independent study for, I think, up to 3 credit hours. You could do another practicum if you really want to get more field experience and do another 1, 2, 3-hour practicum. There's a lot of different options there. So again, it's designed to be really flexible and help you gain the skills and expertise and like experiences that are really going to help you in your career. And then the final option here is approved graduate level WashU coursework. So this really means that you're a student at Washington University, and if you find a class at the Olin Business School or the School of Arts and Sciences or some other school at WashU that where that class is going to add to your degree, you have the option to do that and petition to take that class. So that's another option that's available to you. And something that I didn't mention is there's also a variety of classes at the Brown School that are available. So say you want to take a class in public health, or you want to take a class in social policy that's designed more for social policy students, those are options for you as well. So almost too many options, but a lot of options there for you. Okay, specializations, I just mentioned this. These are the ones that are like kind of like the minor in undergrad. So we have 8 different specializations now. So management, older adults and aging societies, policy, research, sexual health and education, social entrepreneurship, system dynamics, and violence and injury prevention. So again, these are just specializations that the Brown School has designated as part of our curriculum, where we have faculty that are specifically experts in these fields, and we have enough classes to support a specialization. So these are really cool options and opportunities for students, like I said before, to just really develop specialized skills in one of these areas.
And Shayna, I'll hop in here for a moment to echo what you just said, and to sort of point out that the Brown School faculty and the programs, the social work program, has recognized that these areas that are denoted as specializations really truly cross-cut all of our concentrations that we have. So, you could be a mental health concentrator, and it is relevant to know about policy work because policy intersects with mental health. Or if you are a social impact leadership concentrator, what you learn and what you do very much could intersect with older adults and aging societies, because those might be the people whom you supervise as a manager. Noting that the specializations really do apply across the board to our concentrations. The other thing I will point out is if you are interested in our social impact leadership concentration, you'll probably notice here on this slide the words management and the words social entrepreneurship. Because your concentration is so heavily focused on those things, you might realize that that might not be a route I need to take because my concentration is heavily steeped in management and social entrepreneurship. But there might be some other options here that could fit quite well with that social impact leadership concentration. So just a couple things to add.
Yes, thank you so much. Lots of options as students think through what they're going to do here. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is field education. So field education is a huge part of what you're going to be doing at the Brown School as you complete your MSW degree. So first of all, we just wanted to kind of go through the who, what, when, where, whys of field education. So why is field education an essential part of your preparation for social work practice? We think that it is so essential to practice what you're learning in the classroom. There's theory and then there's practice. And we think that in order to prepare students to be practitioners, clinicians, whatever level of social work you intend to practice, whether it's micro, meso, or macro level, we think it's essential that you have experience in the field, learning from people who are already doing the work. So this is it's an essential part of your degree and your program here, and the opportunity for you to really apply what you're learning in the classroom to the field and to out in the community. What distinguishes the field experience at the Brown School? So first of all, our program, our field education experience is designed for student agency and autonomy. Students at the Brown School actually select their own practicum sites. At some MSW programs, students are placed in field sites. We do it a little bit differently here. So students actually have the opportunity to apply to practicum sites. We have partnerships with over 400 sites, active partnerships with 400 sites. We actually have partnerships with more like 700 sites, but active partnerships with about 400 sites where we regularly have students as practicum students. So students apply for positions and then kind of go through the interview process, just like you do with a normal job, and actually get to the point where a site offers you a position and you select that site. So it's really designed to be more of like a partnership between the field site and the student, and designed for students to, like it says here, just have a little bit more agency over their field experience. You will have support from the Office of Field Education as you go through that interview process and application process. It is a little bit more work. So we think that the end result is better for students, and that you have more voice in where you're going, but it is a little bit more work on the front end. So just know that you will have lots of support from the Office of Field Education. You'll have a dedicated field advisor to help you with this. And then we also have something called Field Advisor of the Day. So no matter what the day it is, you always have the opportunity to connect with someone from the Office of Field Education to help you with the process of applying to sites. Of course, the field experience is integrated with our curriculum. And like I was explaining before, that's an essential part of your degree program, and the learning process is connecting what you are doing with what you're practicing in the field. So what will I do during foundation practicum? So like I said before, foundation practicum is 360 hours of experiential learning at a variety of organizations and agencies. Your foundation practicum is really just designed for you to get your feet wet, to really get in the field, learn what social work practice looks like in reality, kind of like get a more broad foundational experience. You will complete your foundation practicum in St. Louis. And when will you complete your practicum? So we kind of went through this in the curriculum overview. So the recommended start time is going to be the first summer. So after you complete your first fall and spring, then you'll move into the summer. You have the option to start in the fall if you want, but we're encouraging students to start in the summer to start their practicum in their first summer, leading into their second year. Yeah. What will I do during concentration practicum? So once you're done with your foundation practicum over those couple of semesters, then you'll move almost immediately into your concentration practicum, which is, like I was explaining before, this is more intense. It's 600 hours of practice and experiential learning at the organization or agency that that you choose and chooses you. Again, the concentration practicum is going to be in your area of concentration. So students in the social impact leadership concentration will have a practicum that is deeply related to social impact leadership. And then students in the mental health concentration will be completing their practicum in a mental health setting, developing those mental health skills. Where will I complete my concentration? This kind of really depends on you. I think once you get in your concentration practicum, there's a little bit more flexibility with your options, with where you can complete. But I would say most students still complete their practicum locally, but there is that potential for completing that concentration practicum in a national or even like a virtual setting. So concentration practicum you'll begin your search. Like I said, there's a little bit of overlap here because you'll be beginning your search at the end of your second spring semester as you're finishing up your first practicum. You'll start interviewing in the spring and the summer, and then the goal is to start the practicum in the fall of year 3 and then continue it throughout the entire year. So this is really cool because you will be spending a significant amount of time at your practicum site. You'll be, I think, like really deeply embedded. You'll get to hopefully build a really great relationship with your supervisor and colleagues there, and really just be able to serve that organization and to build really good skills because you're going to be there for so long. Who will offer support to you? Again, our Office of Field Education is the Brown School's designated team to help students with this process, and not only to help you find a practicum site, but to also help you as you're in your practicum. So any kind of troubleshooting, any kind of extra conversations or extra support you need, that's what they are there for. Our field faculty advisors also do site visits regularly throughout the year. So they're developing like really close relationships, and they already have close relationships with our field sites, but they're there just to really make sure that process is going smoothly, is going well, and is going as intended. Okay, I think I'm done. I'm going to turn it back to Chloe.
Okay, thanks, Shayna. That was a pretty big lift of all the information that you just shared, so certainly appreciate that. So now I have a chance to start to wrap this presentation up for everyone, and I want to talk to you a little bit about our approach to advising at the Brown School. So we do try to make sure that we're intentional in this idea of holistic advising. So first, you'll have an academic advisor, someone like me, because I do help the part-time program. This academic advisor is the person that think about during your time at the Brown School, this person is going to help you navigate the classes that you need to have. This person is well versed on the policies of the Brown School, the resources that we have. So your academic advisor really does serve as a guide throughout your time at the Brown School. Moving on. Another advisor that you will have during your degree program is a faculty advisor. So think of this person, if your academic advisor is the one that knows maybe, behind the curtain, knows how things are made, that faculty advisor is the one that can help link the thing that you made to the greater picture of the world. So this faculty advisor that you will get will help you connect your classroom experiences to the next step. Like, where do I take this? If I'm a mental health concentrator and I have a mental health faculty member who's my advisor, using that mentoring relationship to talk about the field of mental health, like where do we see social work in the next 5, 10, 15 years? And how can that faculty advisor help you envision what you might do post Brown School? So you have your academic advisor, you have a faculty advisor, and also a field advisor in the field education office. This person's going to help support you through your time at your practicum site. They are there to help with connecting what occurs at practicum with what it is that you're learning in the classroom. This field advisor can help with navigating any kind of experiences you might be having with your field site. And it's just a really great go-to person during your search for your practicum locations, during your practicum experience, and post-practicum as well. So really trying to stress this holistic advising that we have at the Brown School to offer you truly a help from all sides. Let's say it that way. You know, you're going to have people in your corner. Gosh, you know, Shanna, you had such a huge lift, and then I just came in and swooped in and only had to say a few more things. But I know we have some folks that have joined us for this session. So did want to give an opportunity for you to ask any questions that might be on the top of your head. So I'll pause here in case our participants have anything they'd like to ask.
When are you assigned an academic advisor and a faculty advisor, and how is that somebody you would meet with before the fall semester starts?
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Maggie. So for your academic advisor, you will be assigned an academic advisor pre-fall enrollment. So that person is going to help onboard you into your very first semester, help make sure that you're in the right courses, and then all the subsequent semesters, that academic advisor is going to be in constant communication to make sure you're taking what you need to take and when. Now, when it comes to your faculty advisor, we have employed a bit of a survey that we've used before with our students to allow students to think about, okay, as I am in some of my coursework and I'm starting to know more faculty at the Brown School and I know their areas of expertise, what we'll try to do is match you with an advisor with whom maybe based on their research area is something that you're quite interested in as well. So that faculty advisor it could be linked first and foremost to your concentration, but if you end up being a student who also specializes, your faculty advisor might end up being someone who's more related to your specialization. So that can shift a little bit, but there is a bit of a matching process, and that'll occur after your first year, most likely is when you'd get linked up, maybe towards the end of your first year, getting linked up to a faculty advisor.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll pause again in case there's another question hanging out there. I'll just flip to this last slide here. Should you have any questions, you know, once this meeting is over and you think, oh, there it was, that's the question I wanted to ask. I want to put here on the screen some folks that you can reach out to. So again, I'm Chloe Risto. I coordinate academic advising here, and we have my colleague Shana Peterson from the admissions office that joined us today. Additionally, there's two other names on this screen here. You'll see Marcia Ford. Marcia is our professor of practice here at the Brown School. Marcia is the director of the part-time program. So Marcia's a great person to chat with, you know, regarding any questions that you might have. Additionally, you'll see another name here, Sarah Birch, Associate Director of Admissions and Recruitment. So one of Shana's colleagues in the admissions office. So should you need any, you know, pre-Brown School conversations, I'm in, let's do this, like I'm coming. Any of us four, you know, can talk to you about any questions you might have, and you have our emails there. Okay, Shana, what do you think?
I think that's great. I think we covered a lot. I think we covered everything. I would just say reiterate what Sarah said in the main session, which is that we have programming throughout the week for students virtually. And then if you are here in the St. Louis area, or if you're close enough and you want to travel here, we would invite you to come to our Saturday programming, which is 8 to 2 on Saturday for all students who are admitted.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks so much
Thanks
for joining.
Maggie.
All right. We'll see you.
All right.